Dremia and welcome. My name is Willowwing, and today we are gonna look at some dragons. During the recent Super Bowl, a new trailer was shown for the live action of How to Train Your Dragon, and it got us quite a lot of footage that showed some of the new dragons in their realistic design, so to speak. We have gotten some footage prior from some of the TV spots and so on, but this is like a big reveal. We see some serious stuff here. So in this video, we're just gonna talk about the dragon designs. I'm not gonna go too much into the story and how the live action looks. It's just gonna be designs, what the dragon looks like and how they feel, in my opinion, and then you can share yours in the comment section. Now I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room, or the dragon in the room, so to speak. I don't know if I am the only one, but the Deadly Nadder. This thing looks absolutely diabolical. It's so spooky to me. I don't know what they did. This head is a lot smaller, it's not as round as the Deadly Nadder we know. It looks absolutely ferocious. I think the eyes are a lot closer to the snout as well, and it's just the horn is massive because we don't have this very swollen jaw, so to speak, and the underbite. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's super menacing to me. I do not see Stormfly in that thing. I just see a very aggressive predator that is looking to kill. I like the detail that some of the spines are broken though. I think that's really cool and it gives the dragon personality. I know that's a bit of a jump from being horrified to actually, but I just realized looking at it and that looks really cool. That makes Stormfly kind of stand out amongst the other Deadly Nadders that might be around. And that's something that they might do with this, that they might make the dragons more unique so they don't look like duplicates of the others that are flying around. Like, let's be honest, Meatlock just looks like the other Gronckles. You would not be able to tell her apart really, only if the other ones have different colors. So that's a good sign. I'm actually approving that. But yeah, this thing is undoubtedly cool, but it freaks me out very much. I think it's really scary and I do not look forward to that training scene where the Nadder jumps around. When it looks like that, that's gonna be a horror movie. That's gonna be really, really terrifying. It might just be me. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about it makes me really uneasy. Now the hideous Zippleback, I'm just gonna go over quickly because we don't really see it close up. We just see it flying in this one scene where all the dragons are flying away from what I assume is the Dragon Island scene. And we just see it briefly, but from what we see, I think it looks amazing. I think it looks really, really promising. Something I also want to mention is that I was hoping they would include a rumble horn and a hot burble, because we see these dragons in the second movie as being domesticated by Stoic and Gobber, and that would hint that they're dragons that kind of live around Berk too, that like this is something with this hideous Zippleback, it's Gronckle, Monstrous Nightmare, and Death and Toothless, that those two are also common around these parts. But we don't see them in the first movie for good reason, they weren't designed back then. But they actually did do this for the live action. They included them as a part of the pack that lives out on the Dragon Island. I didn't spot a hot burble, which is a grump. Gobber's dragon is a hot burble. I didn't see that really, but again, they look very similar to the Gronckle, so it could be that one of them flying around is a hot burble. I have a feeling that they like including Easter eggs as well, because it could be my eyes playing tricks on me, but that looks like a squirrel. That looks like a squirrel.
Huh?
It could be a Deadly Nadder, but the head is just very flat and the tail seems smooth. That could be really cool if they hit like different dragons in there in the pack that we haven't seen before. That would be a nice extra layer to add to the movie. Now we're moving on to the Monstrous Nightmare. This is a dragon I always somewhat had issues with the design, that the eyes were too bulgy and it didn't really have a cranium. It had no skull that would make room for an actual brain. And again, these are cartoons, and of course I forgave it, and I still thought it was a cool dragon, but I did have issues with the head. But that's not the case with this new version, the realistic version. I think it looks very cool. A bit of a crocodile mouth going on, but a bigger head for sure, and a bigger neck as well, naturally. And the pattern on the wings and the body looks stunning. I really like that actually. That's very true to the to Hook Fang and another Monstrous Nightmare with the same pattern. And the spikes on the back, they look really cool. Like They almost look like sails, like they have a little extra skin. So it's just not just spikes; they're special, just like the ones on the original Monstrous Nightmare. They were kind of like bendy, almost look like antennae or something. It was really cool, very ferocious. But for some reason, it does not freak me out as much as the Deadly Nadder. I mean, I know it should because it's the Monstrous Nightmare, but I like this guy a lot, and I don't think he's terrifying, really. Of course, if he was in front of me, he would be terrifying, and I would be the first to fly far away from him. But just as he's standing there, I think he's really, really cool, and I'm more endeared with him than scared of him. It's a really nice design, and I can't wait to see it more in action. Then we have the Terrible Terror. They chose to change the appearance quite a bit for this one and give it more of a chameleon appearance with the eyes. I don't think I'm a fan of it. I think it's creative for sure, and it's a funny take. It's an interesting take, but I like the expressiveness of the previous ones. It's kind of Hiccup's realization that the dragons are not aggressive when they come after the test drive scene, when they come down and try to steal his food. And you can see the expression in this dragon, and you can see how it's acting and everything. You can really tell that it's intelligent, and that's when Hiccup realizes that these are not aggressive, like everything we know about them is wrong. And with this one, I think it's gonna be really hard to drive any emotion out of it whatsoever, because the eye is so tiny on this chameleon eye that it has. But again, body language can do a lot, so I want to stay positive, but for me, I think it's a miss. I think they're kind of getting lost in what the Terrible Terror should be, but that remains to be seen, what they can do with this new design. Another dragon that we don't see a lot of in the trailer is the Gronckle. The Gronckle is only seen in this big pack flying scene, similar to the Rumblehorn and the hideous Zippleback. But in the Gronckle's case, I found an upcoming toy release for it that actually showcased the full body in toy form, of course. So this thing, that's the Gronckle that we're gonna get. It's I'm kind of split about it because I think it's an upgrade. I really think it's an upgrade, but at the same time, I think it looks too much like a pug or a French bulldog, and that takes a bit away from the dragon aspect of it. But again, the Gronckle was always kind of a strange dragon. It had ears, even as the only dragon in the whole franchise that has ears, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And it seems like they've removed those ears for this design to make it more realistic, which is also somewhat interesting, and yet they make it look more like a mammal. I think that's my issue. This looks more like a mammal to me than a reptile, which dragons are, of course, at least in this universe. So I'm very torn about it. At one point I think it's really cool and an upgrade, and at the other hand I think it's a bit too dog-like, a bit too mammal-like. But I'm excited to see it in action, because I bet this one is going to be very expressive, and that's something I think is cool and that we should preserve in these dragons even when they become realistic. So I'm excited to see her in action. I'm surprised that they showed this already in the trailer, but I think they did so as well in the previous trailer. I can't remember, it's so many years since the movie came out, but again, most people know the story, so it would make sense to show it. And it looks... I was a bit skeptical if it was like too far from the movie, but I think it still has multiple eyes. It still has that horn in the middle of its head, and it still has that kind of crown behind its head, and it's still absolutely gigantic. So I think it's pretty cool, and they're incorporating more red into it, so it's actually gonna make sense that it's the Red Death, because it wasn't really that apparent with the original one, because it was mostly gray and had like these small bumps that were red. But this is actually colored into the scales of it that it's red, and I think that's cool, and it's gonna be more true to the name. Some people are saying that Toothless is a bit out of place. He's more expressive and more cartoony-ish than the other dragons. They're more ferocious and more beast-like, but I think Toothless was always the odd one out. If you compare Toothless' design to the Monstrous Nightmare or the Deadly Nadder or the Gronckle, he always looked like he was designed by someone else, which was the case, obviously. The other dragons looked more like they were coming from the book, How to Train Your Dragon, and Toothless looked like he was coming from kind of his own universe. At least that's how I felt. I felt like he was always standing out. So I don't think that's really an argument I want to use. I think he is expressive and he looks very similar to what he looked like in the original ones. I don't really think I have anything negative to say so far. He's pretty true to, well, his design. They have changed his hind legs so it has a different joint than the original movie. He had a salamander leg, as I like to call it, from the original, and now he has a bird leg, an eagle leg, or even a, I don't know, cat leg, dog leg, whatever you want to call it. These kind of types of different are called, I am probably butchering this, but we have digitigrade and plantigrade, which is, I don't know, I'm spelling it so you can see it because I'm probably not pronouncing it right. But he had a plantigrade, which humans have. You step on your ankle. That's sort of what it is. We have our ankle in our foot close to our toes. Where a digitigrade, again, sorry for butchering that, the ankle is like away from the toes. That's how I can explain it, because the amount of joints are the same, they're just positioned differently, and we see the digitigrade in animals more than, primates don't have them, for example, and a salamander doesn't have them either. I think a crocodile is plantigrade as well. But yeah, they changed that, and I can actually only applaud that. I did like Toothless salamander appearance, but this type of leg, hind leg, makes more sense for a flying creature. So I'm just saying that I'm all for that. It was a smart and more scientific choice for the dragon. So I don't really have anything negative to say about Toothless yet. I'm looking forward to see the saddle design and how they incorporate that. But again, it's hard to tell from the trailer. So I think that's just what I'm gonna say about Toothless for now. I think this live action thing is gonna bring everything to like a whole different scale, a larger scale, not necessarily in a better way, because I still think the original is gonna be miles better than this live action, obviously. But I think I'm warming more up to it in the sense that, well, we are getting it, and at least we're getting all these new cool dragon designs. And I've seen a lot of you too in the comments being like, I don't really like the idea of it, but I want to see what the dragons look like, because that's interesting. That's creature design, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the whole political aspects of a live action. So that's what I'm trying to focus on as well. I'm definitely gonna watch it when it comes out, and I'm a bit torn because I think right now How to Train Your Dragon is in like its second golden age, if people will support it, you know? The How to Train Your Dragon franchise was strongest after the second movie, I feel, because that's when we got Race to the Edge, the series, and the third movie was coming up, and we had quite a few games that were coming out as well. So that was really strong. That was the golden age, and now we are ushering in a second phase of the franchise that is allowing it to live on for a little while longer in like a second, like I said, a second golden age. And I think I'm trying to warm up to it a bit, because the franchise has been such a big part of my life, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same. So I'm torn, because a part of me feel like it is a dishonor to the original movie, and another part of me is like I said, well, we're getting a second chance at keeping the franchise alive, which is that a good thing too? It's such a big dilemma, you know. But the dragon designs are interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. So thank you so much for checking this video out. Let me know if you have any suggestions for other videos, anything else you'd like for me to cover. I will be happy to try and get it done. And if not, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully we will meet again. Take care, and so long.